What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Watch This video. Happy Monday. I'm going to try to keep this short and sweet. Hope you're all doing nothing in this market and staying patient. I'm personally still not seeing much. Few names holding up really well. Those specific names are starting to look a little bit better. You got some solid weekly charts on those specific names, which I'll go over, but still not too much to do. It was a super boring scan for me last few days, especially tonight, right? Nice improvement today in breadth. We'll see what can really come of that. Like I said, it's a massive earnings week, like I talked about last night. So still really nothing to do for me, but it was nice to see breadth kind of improve today. Especially here on Pradeeps as well. Same thing, right? Breadth improving. And looking in the after hours, I think CLS reported earnings. I didn't check how the earnings report went, but nice 8% gap up. We'll see what that looks like in the morning. That's pretty much going to be it for breadth. But like I said, nice improvement. You're getting a big gap down. Obviously, like I have on the chart here on the Kospi moving lower through support, or sorry, not the Kospi, NQ, Kospi as well, absolutely dumping down over 10% here. Right, if you look at the EWY, same thing, right, on the Boats Exchange, right, it's at a huge support level. So I won't lie, I will expect a bounce here in the next few days. I think these things are going to bounce. They've gotten absolutely destroyed. Your EWY is getting destroyed in the after hours. If you look at your Samsung, I think it's another one, right? Obviously on the back of Samsung, but it's coming right into a big gap from the earnings as well as another pivot. So it'll be super interesting to see if these things are going to bounce in this area. I don't know. This is a pretty nasty flush, so maybe the ugly close and then like a push tomorrow or something. I don't know. We'll have to see, but definitely not the best action of your NQ, right? Your DXY, the dollar, still looks fine. Double inside day looks like it's going to push out of that. It's already out of the flag. It's out of the base, right? This is your first flag out of the base, so looks pretty good to me. Looks like it wants to go higher, right? Continue to look at futures. You look at your ES, lost the 50 like a few days ago, double inside day, and now it looks like we're going to break down. We rejected the 50 as well. We kind of came up into that, as you can see, came right up into that, rejected it, and we're continuing lower in the after hour session. NQ is another one where you lose support, like I talked about, super nasty flush. Right, you got Meta reporting this week, which has been getting hammered. Amazon's reporting this week. Microsoft is reporting this week. Apple just made a new all-time high today, reporting this week as well. So super interesting, but just we're sitting here waiting on earnings, sitting on our hands doing nothing, right? These are some big earnings though. Crude oil lost the 50 yesterday or today, and it's continuing lower. Not the best action. I mean, it got super extended. I mean, this is a literal bull, like no sideways at all. It just went straight up off right off the 200 days. So definitely interesting spot if you were to get short. I didn't mind that, right? Software was a nice group that performed a little well today, right? As far as relative strength, IGV did have a nice gap and held up in a decent way, but so much overhead supply, it needs to get back above the 200. It needs to start acting way better. But today was maybe nice, right? You can look at RNG, which none of these are tradable to me, but I'm just going to keep an eye on them with relative strength, right? RNG had a big move on earnings. 5N was green today, right? Nice, decent move today. Not going to be trading into these. Like I said, Zeta was another one that was green today, right? In your software, IoT was another software name that was green today. TTWO was another one that was green today. Nothing I'm going to be trading, but definitely interesting to keep an eye on this group. CVLT, just another software name, right? RSP was nice. See this one bouncing again today, right? Gapping up and trying to hold up green. Not bad. SPY rejecting the 50-day, right? We looked at ES doing the same thing, right? It looks to me like it's building a bear flag and wants to go lower. QQQ, obviously same as the NQ, right? Another second close below support. Will it rally back through tomorrow or towards the end of the week, or will it just chop around until Magnificent 7 earnings? And maybe that will push us back through. I don't know. We'll have to see, right? Obviously, I talked about most of the mags. You look at the mags ETF double inside day, kind of just going sideways ever since that gap down day, but looks like it wants to go lower. Apple's still chugging higher, making new highs, but it's got earnings this week, so we'll see what that can do. SMH, you come down into that prior low, you kind of undercut and rally it. Intraday, if I can get, there you go, kind of undercut and rally intraday and try to close not even halfway through this big dump in the morning, but highest volume in a long time, right? Since I think like 2019, maybe, yeah, like almost highest volume since 2019. So that's some pretty big volume there. We'll see what can come of that the next few days, right? Semi's still going to hit pretty hard. Not going to go through those. Half of them looked horrible. WGMI got hit again today, right? Right at the 200, pretty much. It's coming right into that 200 day. We'll see if it wants to build a short-term higher low. I don't know. I did trim more than half of my cipher today on that dump, right? It got absolutely hammered. This thing's down like, you know, uh, 18%, almost 20% in 2 days. So super nasty. You came right into support gap. You made over 120% move, or ATR move from the open. So, it was down a lot. I was up a good amount. My portfolio is sitting at highs while while the market is getting hammered. I feel good about that. I've been watching the short side and absolutely doing nothing on the long side. So wouldn't say it's green in a big way, but nice to get a trim on this one today. I don't want to be too greedy, right? It's nice having my portfolio up, like I said. But I want to stay ready if things shift on earnings, or I may need to reshort after earnings is out of the way. But either way, you got that catalyst of earnings. So there's not much to do there, right? So going through my watches, ANET has been holding up nice. It's building some sort of a base. I'm just going to continue to keep an eye on this. Is it trying to build a higher low? But it's another one that's got earnings soon. But just overall, I want to keep an eye on it. It definitely is building a base. It's building higher lows into the base. So interesting to say the least. DDOG, another one where it's just holding up overall, and it's just trying to work on that right side. So continue building out. It's kind of like sweeping the bottom of this, or it's like breaking down the bottom is like little mini sideways. So pushing back through is interesting. Maybe a pop day and then a few days sideways or something. I'd be more interested, but it's looking good overall. Weekly chart looks fine. So I like how it's holding up, still above the 50. That's super nice. Dell, another one. Obviously, everyone's paying attention to this one. This one did wash out into the gap today. Honestly, gave not a bad spot. I'm not really willing to take this, but it's interesting to see that right at that gap zone, right at the 20-day pretty much. So interesting to say the least. I like how it's digesting. It's really looking good, but I just want it to continue going sideways while the market continues doing what it's doing, breaking down. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing's down the after hours, right? It is. So it's pretty much right back there at that spot. So if you would have bought it, who knows? But overall, right? Overall, it's building a big base. The weekly chart looks awesome, right? You're forming an inside week again, right? Double inside week. It's getting super tight, but is it getting super tight to break down like AMD, right? Which is in a super weak group, or is it just going to keep going sideways while we get the catalyst out of the way? I don't know, but it's something I just want to continue to keep an eye on. I think it looks really good, but you got to have the market behind it, and we don't have that yet. So continue to monitor it. Definitely one of the number one names on my list to continue watching until it breaks down. But even when it breaks down, maybe it comes down to the bottom of the range, the 50-day, whatever. Those will be spots I'll be watching for sure. HP, same group as that Dell. Super tight, right? 4 days in a row, super tight here. Another one where you get a washout into the gap, as you can see. It's a little harder to see, but she did gap up on Wednesday, and that's exactly where we came down into. You can see same pretty much bar as Dell, where you come into the gap, you undercut it, and you ride back through. Super interesting. It's building a base. You look at a weekly chart, triple inside week, super tight. But yeah, we'll see what can come of these. This is the charts that I was talking about. The weekly chart looked good, but the market environment just still is poor. But I really like these. So if I were to take any longs, given a rally day, it would definitely be on Dell, HPE, and continue to monitor these ones. But above the prior day high would be interesting, or another super tight day tomorrow would be interesting. But right, market's gapping down the after hours. I wouldn't be surprised. This thing's practically flat. So we'll see. Eli Lilly, it's been holding up really well, and the XLV looks fine. So I just want to continue to keep an eye on it. I think it looks pretty good. Just let it continue building out this like mini base it's got going, and the right side right here. So continue running up a little bit, maybe just continue to get started. I didn't really like this action, but I like how well it's been acting. It did just build a big higher low. If you go to a weekly chart, you can really see the higher low. So it's definitely interesting. Net, another one that's still holding the 20-day above 50 and 200. So it's not getting hit. The weekly chart looks fine. It's just consolidating. It's just building out that right side. You had like a cup, and this is almost like a little mini handle or a flag. It's building right under a pivot. Interesting. Maybe another one where it's like you get the big washout, comes right into that. If I go to a weekly chart here, right, that prior high is a big pivot, comes right into that area, or even the 20-day, and you kind of undercut it and rally back through. Which held up super nice today. So that's interesting. Definitely one to keep an eye on tomorrow. Maybe a tight day tomorrow or something. But another one with earnings coming up around the corner. HP, not so much. Eli Lilly, maybe some earnings soon. NTAP, another one where I really like the weekly chart here. Double inside week, forming a triple inside week. But I just, this action is not bad off the 20-day, but just continue building out here, get a little bit more clearer for me. But it's super interesting nonetheless. And it's definitely trying to build something. Not as clean of a base as HPE or Dell, but definitely super interesting there and holding up really well overall. Snow, right next to your DDOG as far as software. And we saw software has been holding up really well recently, but continue building out here. This looks really good as far as holding up compared to the rest of the market. But whichever way you want to look at this, it's definitely building out sideways here finally, which is super nice. And just continue doing that. Maybe we can pick this up as a higher low if the time comes, but I don't know if I want to continue looking for short right now. I don't want to be shorting into the hole, but we'll see. I have small side, or like about 10% of my portfolio still in Cypher. So another flush tomorrow, and I'll be trimming even more. But I don't want to add on more shorts into the hole, right? I don't really want to be shorting into the hole, and I don't really, like I said, don't really want to be buying stuff just yet, but we'll see. These names are definitely the ones I want to continue to keep an eye on. Continue going sideways here for the snow. While the market breaks down, it will be the best case scenario here. So interesting. But retail name, I debated putting this on the list, but out of all the names that have just been still holding up, even though they trade pretty shitty, you're coming off of a big earnings gap up. You are building sideways here. So it's definitely interesting. Had a nice day today. Just continue trading sideways and I'll continue keeping an eye on it. But like I said, I don't have too much for you guys. There's so many earnings this week. Stay patient. Get comfortable sitting on your hands. Protect your mental and physical capital for when times get easier or once earnings are out of the way and when you maybe have a little bit more edge and the market's more in our favor. But for now, right, the goal still remains to do less every single day, and I'm going to repeat that over and over again every single day until that changes. I personally have just been building my model book, continuing to add names from this cycle, prior cycles to my model book in my free time instead of scanning thousands of stocks every day for no reason because there's not really much to do right now. But scan the names that are holding up the best because when the market turns, those will probably be your biggest winner stocks. So I appreciate you guys all for watching, and I will catch you tomorrow. Peace.